Shalom, shalom, Yasharala. How everybody doing? All praises. Welcome to another session of Room 144. My name is Ashna Posh. Got the brother here, Kanash.
Khan.
Hawa.
Shabbat.
Right.
Shabbat
So
shalom.
this evening we're going to be covering the 10 virgins, right? You have the five wise virgins and the 5 foolish virgins. So the name of the lesson is the wise and the foolish virgins. So let's go straight into it. Let's get Matthew 25. Start at 25 and verse 1.
Matthew chapter 25 and verse 1. Then shall the kingdom of heaven be like unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom.
All right, so let's pay attention to what the Most High Son is saying here, right? He talks in a lot of parables, and he always would liken the kingdom of the Most High unto several different things, right? In this instance, he's talking about is like 10 virgins which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. So let's hold that right quick and let's get Jeremiah 6 to see why he's referring to, why is he using virgins? Let's see what he likens Israel to. If you guys know, you know. If you don't, take notes. That way, when you go back and read on your own, when you study on your own, it makes sense, all right? So Jeremiah 6 and verse 2.
Jeremiah chapter 6 and verse 2. I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman.
So it says he compares the daughter of Zion, which is Israel, to a what?
To a comely and delicate woman.
To a comely and delicate woman. So let's go back to Matthew 25. So when you read about these virgins, understand he's referring to the nation of Israel, to all of us, right? Go ahead.
And 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish.
All right, so it was 50-50 with them, right? 5 were wise, 5 were foolish. Go ahead.
And Salakia, they that were foolish took their lamps and took no oil with them.
Think about that. So these 5 right here, they knew what was coming up, right? They knew what the mission was at hand, and they went and didn't prepare at all, which is, something that's common in our nation, right? We have so many things coming up. One of the main ones is the hope for salvation. The hope for salvation, if you guys caught the lesson before this right here with the brother Yashimai and Kabash, brothers were going into how we chase things that are not profitable for us. They broke down the example as far as, Yahweh Shai being tempted by the devil, by Satan. And it's something that we face on a daily. We face on a daily, but we give in. We give in, and we think that by us following these so-called dreams or these fortunes or whatever, that we're actually looking out for ourselves and for our people. We look at the congregations all across the world of Israel, and we don't really give them the significance or the respect that we should, right? So let's go into this word right quick. So he says the first 5, they were foolish. So let me get this right quick. It says, this is off the Strong's 3474 in the New Testament, right? And it says, the root of the English terms moron or moronic, right? Properly, dull, flat, without an edge, figuratively, mentally inert, dull in understanding, nonsensical, moronic, lacking a grip on reality. Look at our people out there. Their reality is a fantasy. Our people out there catching every show, catching every concert, catching everything that's vain. Most High says the understanding of the knowledge of this world is foolishness, right? In the eyes of the Most High. But yet, we consider ourselves to be inspired. We consider ourselves to be spiritual and every other, right, positive term that you could throw out there. We woke, but are we really though? We act like, we the sharpest, but yet you have conversations with a lot of our people, it's BS. It's just dead. It's dull, like the scriptures talk about it right here, when he refers to the five as, the first five as the foolish virgins. So it says, lacking a grip on reality, acting as though brainless. Look at the state of our people. So we read about it, oh, it's 10 virgins. That's a nice story. Damn, they should have been ready. But we don't ever look at ourselves like, oh, okay, damn, I don't have oil in my lamp. Okay, well, let me try to see what I could do to get some oil in this lamp, because the time is running out. Tomorrow's not promised, but we live like it's like we're going to live 100+ years or whatever. We always want to put the Most High in the back burner, right? We always we want to do what we please and not do his will. Whether you're in the world of obvious, in the world, you can see it, but also in this walk, a lot of times, oh yeah, I'm still with the Most High. I'm still, connected. I'm still keeping laws, keeping statutes. Okay, cool, but what's up with your lamp? How much oil do you have in that? Do you have any? Are you running low? And how do you look at that? You look at that by what we're going to go into this evening, really understanding what it takes. Again, man, I look at every lesson like being the same thing, just from different angles. Most High said, look, I'm going to give you this time, this window of mercy, so y'all can get it together. And I'm going to give you a whole book and a whole bunch of different lessons to help you get it together. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to give you a bunch of feast days so you can see the importance on how it is that you got to get it together. Everything connects, right? So, again, it says, this root more properly refers to the physical nerves causing one to become dull, sluggish. Used of the mind, dull, stupid, foolish, flat, insipid, right? And use apparently, right, means ironically, of apparent stupidity. When you look at Jeremiah, imagine the sister that took herself out and took her kids and her husband, what was it, a couple of weeks ago, with the eclipse? Jeremiah 10, and it was a lot of our people that were afraid of what was going to happen. People out here left and right, and it just shows you, by those conversations and those reactions, it shows you how far you are from the Most High. Let's go to Jeremiah right quick, because Jeremiah even brings it up. We just read stupid, right? Moronic, dull. Look at what Jeremiah talks about. Jeremiah 10, read 2. And these are just examples like, okay, you know what? Let me help this brother, let me help this sister, because they're not connected. Let me help myself if I'm out here tripping, thinking that I'm going to die, that something crazy is going to happen. When the Most High said this. Go ahead.
Jeremiah chapter 10 and verse 2. Thus saith the Lord, lean not unto your, Salakia, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
So it's telling you, look, learn not the way of the heathen, and do not be dismayed at the signs of heaven, right? Go ahead.
For the heathen are dismayed at them.
The heathen are the ones that are dismayed. Those that have no knowledge, they get caught up with everything. You a solid Israelite, none of this should affect you in no way. You got to look at people. Actually, you should take the opportunity to let people know, like, look, this is what it is. As a matter of fact, look at what it says right here in the scriptures. Let's jump down to this right here. Look, verse 8.
Verse 8. But they are altogether brutish and foolish.
Brutish and foolish. And it talks about Christmas. It talks about all these things that the world celebrates, right? And he sums it up and he says, but they are altogether brutish. You know what brutish is, right? Stupid, right? And foolish. The stock what?
The stock is a doctrine of vanity.
Is a doctrine of vanity. So let's go back to Matthew. So when you start understanding what these sisters were into, and these sisters representing the nation of Israel, these Israelites, they were in a state of foolishness. Instead of being in the Word, they thought it was an easy route, I guess, right? Just like Christianity nowadays. You go out there and you believe like, oh, you know what? It's all good. All I got to do is, what do they say about the blood of Jesus? That's it, right? He saved us. It's crazy, even putting this lesson together, I was looking into Ephesians, right? One of the scriptures that I'm bringing out, because it's obvious you got to put in the work. And when looking at that, they have the whole article that I saved, that it talks about in Philippians 2:12 through 13, where it says, you know, doing the works, working out your own salvation, right? They have this whole article that's saying Christ didn't really, the scriptures didn't really mean that. That's done away with. Think about it. How foolish is that? But that's the prime example that we're reading about right here, that we're reading up. As far as the 5 of them, right, that, that were foolish. The scriptures tell you from the beginning, prepare, prepare, prepare. Seek the Most High. Yeah, you let the world tell it. Nah, you know what? It's all happiness. All you got to worry about is being happy. Do whatever makes you happy. And that's the mentality our people have. Even people here that are no longer here. Nah, you know what? That was just too draining. I'd rather live my life. I'd rather be my own self and still have my own relationship with God. I used to be an Israelite. Brutish as hell. How were you an Israelite? But that just shows you how foolish these individuals were, that they never understood the significance of what this is, even of who they are. Right? But continue on with read 2 again, 25 and 2.
Verse 2, and 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish. They that were foolish took their lamps, and took no oil with them. But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept.
All right, so let's get Ecclesiastes. Ecclesiastes 7.
Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and verse 1. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven.
This is something that we need a lot of help with. We love to have fun. We love to waste time. We love to wake up whenever we want to wake up. We love to go to sleep whenever we want to go to sleep. As a nation, we have no discipline. Yet the scriptures tell you, to everything there is a season, right? And a time to every purpose. We like to joke around a whole lot. We like to talk a whole lot. But when it comes to acting, putting things in action, right? We really don't do that. We hardly do that. And when we execute it, you know, we start something and we don't really finish it. But go ahead, continue on.
Verse 2, a time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted.
And even when you understand that, the weeds and the tares. See how it all connects? Because it's within the same chapters that we're reading about. The virgins, then it comes, you know, he talks about the talents, the weeds and the tares. But it's letting you know right here, look, there's a time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planted. Continue on.
A time to kill and a time to heal. A time to break down and a time to build up.
Continue.
A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing.
Look at that right there. That's a big one. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. You meditate on that. There's certain people that you were cool with, right? If you're in this walk, you should be cool with them because they're putting in this work. As soon as they start going away from putting in this work, then guess what? You got to correct them. You got to show people when we go, you know, into Habakkuk, where it talks about the law not going forth and therefore judgment, you know, being slack, right? or the law being slack and judgment never going forth. That's the issue, another big issue with our people. Because it talked about dull, it talked about not being sharp, right? The scriptures talk about us helping each other, sharpen each other. So there's a time to embrace people, and there's a time to refrain from embracing them. But guess what we do? Like what we covered last week or 2 weeks ago. We bend our ways, we trim our ways to just be able to be cool with everybody. If you don't have enemies, then guess what? The Most High is not on your side. And I mean, if you don't have enemies, because you're acting right, you're acting according to the scriptures. Because let Israel tell it. Everybody has ops out there. It's ridiculous. You have enemies that really don't exist, but in your mind, and it's again what we read about in Jeremiah, brutish and foolish, right? All these vain things that we live by, that we really put our mind into, our spirit into. You look at all these distractions that be going on out there. You got all these battles right now, people going at it with each other, everybody going at it with each other. Our people caught up in that instead of looking at what's at hand. Yeah, the scriptures tell you not to be ignorant to no matter, but we ignorant to the law. We ignorant to the works that need to be completed, right? But we're caught up in every, gossip that's going on in the world, every situation that's going on out there. Not knowing that that's been one of the weapons to keep us distracted, to keep us in that foolish state of mind, right? So finish up with 6 through 8.
A time to get and a time to get and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away, a time to rend and a time to sow, a time to keep silence and a time to speak, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace.
So there's a time for everything. If you understand what the Most High, because remember, back in the day when Israel went to war, it wasn't like, oh, by the way, that's your war. I'm gonna just sit back. Let me know how it goes. Because remember when who was it, Manasseh and the other tribe, I know Manasseh for a fact, they tried to stay on the other side of the Jordan. They're like, nah, look, when war pops off, you got to be there. They said, no doubt, we're going to be there. So it was, the whole nation was facing it. That's why it says you got to be in one accord, right? But out here, we all have our own opinions. We have, our own focuses, and we don't really consider what really needs to be considered, which is the works of the Most High, which is how to really make this happen. You got a couple of brothers tuned in, a couple of sisters locked in, but the rest of the nation is just like, you know what? They got it. I'm going to do me. That's, part of being that foolish virgin. That foolish virgin, because you're not prepping up. How do you fill up your lamp with oil? Is by doing the works of the Most High, by helping the nation, by being present, by helping each other out, by taking those phone calls, by, giving your last when you ain't got it. Guess what? You know what? I know the Most High got me, so it don't matter. When you're lacking energy, but guess what? You need to be present. You go ahead and make it happen. Basically, putting excuses to the side and just making it happen. That's the opposite of the foolish virgins that we read about, right? Let's go back to Matthew. So there's a time for everything. And he said, that they went and they all slept. Before we continue on, let me get a couple other precepts just to understand that it's necessary that we stay locked in to understand what it is we need to be doing while the time is still present. That window of mercy is still, we still are able to make use of it. Because imagine, people die on a daily. As soon as you're gone, that's it, game over, right? We're still alive. So while we're still here, we got to make it count. Look at what it says right here, Colossians 4 and 5.
It's like it. Colossians chapter 4 In verse 5, walk in wisdom towards them that are without.
With foolishness?
With them that are without. Walk in wisdom towards them that are without.
How are you going to walk with wisdom if you're one of the foolish virgins? That's why it's so crucial how the Most High got it laid out, right? For you to even say something, the scriptures tell you, like, look, don't be a foolish individual. Because it could be the most gifted advice that you could, the most gifted words that are coming out of your mouth. But at the end of the day, they don't count due to the reputation you have. Due to the track record that you have. Sometimes due to the way you just appear, your appearance. Be like, man, come on, bro, you gonna tell me something? You want to talk about wisdom? You, sister, really look at you. The one that was wilding out just 2 nights ago? Now you want to act like you really got something to say? Think about that, right? So the Most High is saying, walk in wisdom. What am I bringing out with this is that, man, no matter who you with or where you at, right? If you really about Abba's business, you're going to make sure that you represent properly. You got these fringes on and you out there acting a fool on the streets, right? Imagine that. You out here in your vehicle just, man, doing worldly stuff. Then you step out of the vehicle like, damn, really, sister? Like, you one of them. Didn't I see you on that page, Sisters of Virtue? Oh, damn. Okay. So that's virtue? Because you're a representation of that, but now what? Well, brothers, every one of us, no one is exempt, right? So it's a must, as much as possible, that we live our lives blameless. Because that's how we're going to make it count. If you are walking blameless, guess what? Anytime that you give something, that you give people advice, they're going to look at you and respect it. And be like, you know what? This brother got a good track record. This sister, man, I mean, all I got to do is be quiet and take it. Because at the end of the day, it's coming from the scriptures. You see the power that has at the end of the day is like, damn, okay, cool. That's why a lot of our community, a lot of our people outside of the word or outside of the truth look at Israel like, man, y'all joke. Because of the track record, the history that Israel has had, right? Out in the corner just putting people down. The Most High says edify. Yeah, you cut them, but then heal them up. We forget the second part. We're good at just putting each other down. That's the reason why we're in the place that we're in right now. Because we put each other down, always. We don't ever support each other, right? We are our worst enemy. All the time. When brothers are talking to you or sisters telling you about a venture, about a business venture she's trying to get into, your mind's already like, man, she ain't got it. He ain't gonna make it. That alone, that's powerful right there. As a man thinketh, the scriptures talk about, right? What is it? So is that person. Shalom, sis. Sisters. And that's something heavy that you could look into. You could really search into the power of the mind. It's real powerful. You wake up in a negative spirit, that's it. Your day is going to go downhill from that point. You wake up no matter what you're going through, but you give up, you send them up to the Most High, ask for his help, and just go out with a smile. Know that, you know what, I am more than a conqueror. Thus saith the Lord. So I'm going to go ahead and conquer and do beyond that. You really live by that, man, your day is going to run smooth. And you're also going to be aware that there's chaos out there. You're going to know, hey, Ephesians told me that I'm not wrestling against flesh and blood, but against principalities. So Abba, help me out with my hedge. Make sure that my hedge is strong enough so when it comes my way, I'm able to deflect all that. Your mind's already tuned in, but guess what? You need to recall these scriptures. David said, you know what? These precepts are my buckler. These precepts are my defense. But if we don't wake up and think like that, you wake up and you're already overwhelmed by the garbage that you got to face in this world.
Cares of the world.
Then that's it. What did you say? The cares of the world. And that's where we get locked up. That's where we get stuck a lot of times. The cares of the world. The Most High, what? Oh, is the Sabbath already? Oh, man. Like, really? How disconnected are you? What were you doing the whole week? Imagine. Then you come, you sit in these chairs, and you're just thinking about, man, Saturday night, I can't wait. Saturday night come through because I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do that. Disconnected.
The crazy thing is the 5 wise virgins ain't even thinking like that. They could slumber and sleep because they did what they had to do. The foolish can't slumber and sleep because you didn't do your work.
Yeah.
So there's 2 parties of people right here. But the foolish is looking at the wise thinking that they could do what the wise do. But you haven't even put in your work.
Yeah, man, that's a big one right there. That's a big one. In this word or anywhere else, you look at successful people, you be like, you be acting like you're them. Their successes, you be out here in the whip thinking, yeah, that's me. Really? What time is it? You just got out the house, did a shower, got 2 different socks on, your car is a mess, but your mind is thinking that you're that successful person you're listening to. Or whatever it might be that you're thinking of. It happens. It happens, but that's what the brother's saying. Like, guess what? Let me see. And it's cold because there's a scripture to that. Let me see. It's in Proverbs. Nah, sis. Look at what it says right here. Psalms 127 and 2. We're going to come back to the last one.
Psalms chapter 127 and verse 2. It is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows, for so he giveth his beloved sleep.
Look at that. Listen to that though. Read that again, Doc.
It is vain for you to rise up early.
These are the cares of the world that we so stuck on, right? Getting up, chasing, trying to get that bag, trying to do this, trying to do that. Instead of living a simple life, we want to do it all. Because our influences, everything that we look around is showing you these things, right? Instagram. You look at anything and everything. All you see is the cares of the world, right? All these things that we don't need, but we want. So it says, it is vain for you to rise up early and to sit up late. Go ahead.
To eat the bread of sorrows, for so he giveth his beloved sleep.
He's like, look, those that are understanding what they need to be doing, that Deuteronomy 10 and 12, they good. They sleep, they wake up, go back and handle the works of the Most High. You see them smiling. They're going through things because the Most High is always going to, give you some trials and tribulations. But you're like, hey, you know what? All praises, Father, that you think about me and you care for me, that you're presenting these obstacles so I could grow. Remember, he's testing us like that gold, right? He's trying us like gold. So when we, again, it's the state of mind that we take. It's not what gets tossed or what you face, but it's how you deal with it. Troubles are always going to be present. You're always going to have issues, right? But how you approach these issues is what matters. And look, it's in the scriptures, Sirach 27. Get Sirach 27 and 5. That's what I'm saying, man. When you connect it with this word, it's like, whatever comes your way, it's nothing. It's nothing. We read about it right now. I didn't just read that because, I'm trying to make up time. No. In Ecclesiastes 3, 1 through 8, it tells you there's a time for everything. People out here mourning for people 5, 10 years, 11, 15 years. Now, the Most High said, look, you mourn for these many days, then you get back to work. You do this, then you get back to work. You go ahead and plant these crops. Eventually, you're going to go ahead and pick them and make use of them, right? There's a time for everything. Look at what it says right here. Is that it? 27 and 5?
Sirach chapter 27. You want verse 5 or 3? Verse 5. The furnace proveth the potter's vessel. So the trial of man is in his reasoning.
Look at that. Who said it? Breaks it down, right? You guys understand that? Is your reasoning. So it says, the furnace proveth the potter's vessels. So the trial of a man is in his reasoning. How you deal with the situation is what's going to, provide that outcome for you. Either that positive outcome or that negative outcome. You have so many hours in a day. And you got so many tasks to complete. You're not going to help the situation by laying on your bed and being worried about, I don't have enough time. 1 hour goes by, 2 hours go by, 3 hours go by. And you're out here stressed out. But no action behind any thought, right? You're just laying right there. And that's the state of our people. Yep. I got to pay these bills. I got to do this. But you know what? There's no work. There's no this. There's no that. Always focus on the negatives, on the things that we lack. But what do you have? Make it happen. Make do with what you have. But we don't ever look at it like that. That's why you got people that look at the glass, right? It's half empty. And then you got people that look at it, oh, you know what? That's half full. I'm going to handle and I'm going to make a way to, fill it up to the top. And I'm going to double it up. The talents. But the other brother said, you know what? Nah, I'm going to put this one away. I'm going to just hide it. And eventually when he asks for it, I'm going to go ahead and give it back to him. Knowing well that that was not what the Lord expected. The foolish virgins. They knew where they were headed. They knew that they needed that lamp to be lit, to be full of oil. But instead, they said, you know what? Somebody got us. Pretty sure one of them is going to have some oil to spare. The mentality that we have as a nation. Imagine all of us put in our brick on a daily. How far would we be? If all of us did at least the bare minimum as a nation, the bare minimum, but we don't even do that. Let's go back to Colossians 4 and 5.
Colossians chapter 4 and verse 5. Walked in wisdom towards them that are without, redeeming the time.
We got to redeem the time. We got to redeem the time.
Yep. Because we far behind.
Man, we far behind. We serving a sentence. We act like we on vacation. We act like we on vacation looking for another vacation. We save and save and save just to go on vacation when the nation needs the help. We selfish. We real selfish as a nation. You know what? That's not necessary. That's not necessary. We always look like, man, that's it. That's something they want to handle. Not understanding that everything that's being done is for the nation, but you're so disconnected and so caught up with your own self that you don't see the importance on the things that are at hand. And it's sad. Yep. It's sad because then, we claim to be Israelites. We claim to love the Most High. We claim to love Yahweh Shai. But we have so much anger within us. We hold grudges. We sometimes don't partake of certain things because we feel some type of way with certain people. How was that? Imagine Yahweh Shai took that approach. If he would have taken that approach, man, we would have been doomed. But again, if we want to be Christ-like, we got to look at everything that he did. The sister that only had a penny and gave it all up. The brothers that went ahead and sold their property so everybody could be on point and not lack. But we're far from that mentality. And we got to understand, we products of our environment, but once we come to this word right here, we gotta look at things different. We can't still be stuck in the ways that we were back in the day or everything that we learned as we were coming up. Because everything that we learned when we were coming up was negative. Everything that was given to us, was presented to us, was for us to stay at the bottom. Psalms 83. It was designed so we could fail, so we could forget the name of Israel and just think about ourselves as being minorities. And then giving us dreams, like the brothers went in earlier, that for you to make it, you got to sell your soul. Any industry that you were part of, you sold your soul. Because imagine, you're breaking the Sabbath, that's one. That's the day that they go ahead and every event happens on right now, Friday night, Saturday.
Yep.
Everything. So obviously, you're on the wrong end. You're enmity unto the Most High. You're an enemy of the Most High because you're not on his right side, right? So it said again, walk in wisdom toward them that are without, redeeming the time. The 5 virgins, they had all the time in the world. They had the same amount of time. The 5 foolish and the 5 wise virgins, right? Mm-hmm. But the 5 wise ones, they decided to redeem the time. Mm-hmm. They decided to take advantage of any moment that they had to be able to be ready, to be prepped up. But even that nowadays, you look at how it's flipped. You look at Vashti, for example, right? All them sisters, how long were they in the process of purification? A year, right? Mm-hmm. We look at just the physical aspect, right? Oh, okay, purification. He likened the daughter of Zion, right, as a comely and delicate woman. That's Israel. Mm-hmm. How many of us is purifying ourselves for that day of vengeance, of judgment? A lot of us just look at, the face, and not even the face value, because a lot of us don't even look at the face value of things in the scriptures. But I'm bringing this up because these brides, it wasn't like, oh, you know what, May 25th, that's the date. Mm-hmm. Nah, it was like, look, got a message out of nowhere. Present yourselves. Oh, okay, cool, let me show up. But that's just to show you who really wanted it and who understood the prerequisites and the requirements, right? And those that were just, oh, okay, that's the day. I'll be there. But were they ready? No. Just how many of us out here, we there. We made it to the feast. We hear every now and then, we show up. We participate, but do we really see the importance of why we need to be present? Physically, we're there, but are we mentally, even spiritually there? A lot of times we're not. A lot of times we fear men. We show up just because we fear men. We don't want men to say anything negative. Right. Like men have any power. We really don't. I mean, we do, but we don't. Not when it comes to judgment. Yahweh said, look, I gave that to Yahweh Shai. He going to deal with it. I was talking to somebody recently, and they're like, man, it's crazy because I've been meditating. Is Christ, am I even worthy of Christ relaying my prayers to the Most High? You got to think about that. Yeah. Exactly, but imagine how many of our people understand that. Whether here in the Word and the truth and the walk or in the world. Again, we out here living a fantasy. We really, foolish Galatians. We're foolish wherever we from. Angelinos, right? Thinking that really we are connected to the Most High, not understanding that Deuteronomy 10 and 12 still in full effect. It says, what does he require from you? And he breaks the list down, right? Mm-hmm. And then now it's like, okay, once you fill those requirements, now when you're in need, then Yahweh Shai intercedes, and he goes through and he's the mediator. He brings that message unto the Most High. Other than that, he's not paying no mind to it. So imagine for all our brothers in the walk that don't believe in Christ. But let them tell it. It's crazy. You don't believe in Christ, but you don't follow the Torah, the sacrificial laws. Again, it shows you how brutish our people are. But then you make sense of that. Another thing too, with that scripture, it says redeeming the time, right? And there's another scripture that talks about making sure you have an answer, right? For all things. That's another big one with our people. You know what? We're rehearsing the righteous acts, and eventually Christ's going to bring us together. Okay, so why are you not doing your part while you're here? Why are you not researching things that are, like, you could research anything, for the most part, right? Perhaps prophecies, you're going to have a couple of, you're going to have some issues with. But when it comes to these feast days, when it comes to the doctrine, you shouldn't be like, you know what, eventually we'll get it. No, you got to be that wise virgin to be able to be here and be like, you know what, let me break bread with brothers. Let me put my pride to the side and let me really try to figure these things out. A lot of us don't do that, though. A lot of us be like, oh, you know what, eventually Christ got us. Really? You sound like a foolish virgin right now. Eventually, somebody gonna give me some oil. Why are you not searching for your own oil?
Yep.
So it's a lot of different levels to it, right? But it's necessary that we really understand what the parable is talking about. Let me get Psalms 90 and 12. We're focused on time right now.
Psalms chapter 90 and verse 12. So teach us to number our days, that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom.
Imagine that, right? A lot of us just let days go by, let weeks go by. We don't understand anything. A lot of us look at the moon still and don't understand anything about, the operation of the moon, the significance of it. We just seen we had a full moon, where we at? About 3 days, midweek. We had a Tuesday night, we had a full moon, right? That's day 15. What feast is coming up? Next one up, yeah. Memorial Simon, which is when? 2/23, right? Second month, 23rd day. So if you really understand, because he's asking right here, let us understand how to number our days, how to make sure that we understand even, the watches. You have watches in the Bible, in the scriptures. That's how they break down when Christ passed away. And that's how you will understand, like, okay, this happened at this time, about 6, about midday this happened, about 3 o'clock p.m., he gave up the ghost. It's not that difficult. If we're connected and understand what really is laid out in these scriptures. So now the 15, that means, okay, another 5 days, we're at 20, right? 3 days after that, Memorial Simon. So you don't got to depend. Yeah, we still have the calendars and all that, but now you're observing the times of the Most High, and you really understand. Okay, from there, 23, okay, about 7 days from now, we're going to have another new moon, a new month, month 3. And that's how you start looking at things and becoming more connected to it. Instead of just, hey, Ak, when is this? Hey, did y'all send a calendar out? You are more in tune with what is necessary for you to be in tune with. The elder right here, he crops. You have an almanac, right? That just doesn't come out the blue. There's patterns. There's certain crops that you put in the winter that you go ahead and plant in the spring, summer crops and so forth. The more we know, the better the outcome's going to be. And then you walk with this wisdom to those that are without. So guess what do you have now? That Deuteronomy 4 that we read about. That wise and intelligent nation. Now we can't be taken for fools, right? We cannot be fooled by the powers that be. Because we will be that power. We're going to have that power. The scriptures say you are God's, right? Which is powers. So now when we understand all these things, guess what? That's what makes us wise in the eyes of the Most High. And in the sight of the nations. Because that's what you read about in Deuteronomy, right? So going back to this script right here. Again, the time. Read that again.
Verse, Salakia, what verse?
It's 90 and 12.
Verse 12. So teach us to number our days, that we may apply our hearts unto wisdom.
So again, making sure that, we take advantage of all the time that's given to us, that's granted to us by the Most High. Let me get Sirach 5 and 7. And that's pretty much the point of that parable right there. Knowing how to manage your time. Knowing how to manage your time and knowing exactly what it is you need to be doing with your time. What are your priorities? Is your life your priority? Or is it pleasing the Most High? Because if you please the Most High, guess what? Your life's going to be straight. Your life is going to be straight. Joshua 1:8 said it. We read that scripture a whole lot of times, especially when we're out in the streets. But a lot of times we don't understand it, right? Go ahead and read that, Sirach.
What verse?
5 and 7.
Sirach chapter 5, verse 7. Make no tarrying to turn to the Lord, and put not off from day to day.
Our people do that all the time, right? What's up, sis? Are you ready? Nah, you know what? Right now I'm going to college. I'm dealing with my life, but eventually, I'll get with you. We act like we know our end, right? We know when our clock is going to expire. I'm going to go to college for 8 years, and eventually I'll get with you once I'm stable, once I got my money right. Most High hits you with something. The next month, you out. Then what? But that's why we got to read these precepts and really understand them. It said, make no tarrying, so don't procrastinate, right? Don't lag it. It says, don't procrastinate to turn to the Lord and put not off from day to day. Go ahead.
For suddenly.
For what?
For suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth.
That's the part that we forget about. Most High might hit you with cancer out of the blue. What is it? Stage 4, right? You have a month left. It happens all the time. You see it on Instagram. You see all these youngsters, a lot of men, a lot of sisters. Breast cancer. She was only 21. She lived for a month and she was gone. Colon cancer. All these cancers, all these illnesses, right? A car accident. That happens a whole lot. Somebody takes you out. Home invasion. I mean, anything. We forget. The scriptures talk about it. Anything that happens in the world, did the Most High not make it happen? Indeed. Anything. But we disconnect ourselves from that. We blame Mother Nature. We blame the city that we live in. We blame the government, the system. That's a slap in the face for the Father, because we start giving power to, these things that have no power. Even when we read about Job that we just read about recently in a class, it was like, look, Satan came and asked the Most High for permission, right? And he said, go ahead, do this, but just don't do this, right? And these are the things we got to look at, because now it's saying, suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth. But we want to take our time with everything. Then it's crazy, because the Most High gives you fair warning. That's how merciful he is. You go ahead and you hurt yourself. You go ahead and, you fall down the stairs on the Sabbath when you should have been doing something and you were doing the complete opposite. But you're so disconnected that you don't really see that. Like, oh, Salakia Abba. Man, you know what? A brother told me, a sister told me. They warned me. Now, these things happen. That are things that are kind of difficult for them to go down, right, on a regular basis, but it happened to you. One thing happened, another thing happened. 3 things happen in 1-2 weeks. And you're still so caught up in your own life and your own vain mentality that you don't give the Most High no recognition. That's scary right there. That's real, man. And just to show you where you stand at that point. Because it's not, again, I talked about it last time about, the reprobate state of mind. It don't take too much. And you're still going to be in your mind thinking you're doing the works of the Most High when you're not. Just because to be in Israel. And you forget another thing, brother brought it up earlier, man, where he's talking about our people can't even comprehend that there's wicked Israelites here. There's people that Most High hates of our nation here, present amongst us, right? But we can't even consider that. When we read about that in the scriptures, time after time after time, the lesson that the bishop brought for Passover, man, that was a complete, man, that angle, I wasn't expecting it, but it was beautiful because it really makes you understand, like, wow, yeah, this is what it is. A lot of times, even in this truth, we want to hear like the Christian aspect of the word. Nah, we got to look at it for what it is. This is not a game right here. We at war. We've been at war. We serving a sentence, but we still don't understand this, right? So again, read that from the top, Ak.
Verse 7, make no tarrying to turn to the Lord, and put not off from day to day. For suddenly shall the wrath of the Lord come forth.
Listen to this. Go ahead.
And in thy security.
And in what?
And in thy security.
When you think everything is good, your family's happy, the house is paid for, the cars are paid for. Maybe not the house, right? But, you know, in your mind, everything's straight. Guess what? That's when the Most High comes through with the judgment. Because he said, in thy security shall what?
Thou shalt be destroyed.
Man, look at that. Listen to the words. In thy security thou shalt be destroyed. Destroyed. Right? Destroyed. That's not like, oh, I'm going to give you a warning. No. In that security, the days of the days of Noah. Out there having fun, partying it up, right? Giving into marriage, everything that we have in this place. No worries, although it's chaotic, but our mind is like, you know what? It's chaotic, but it don't affect me. I'm good. It says, in that security, I'm going to bring destruction unto you. Yeah, you know, my whole family's good. They all have good jobs. We pretty stable. Our bank accounts is looking pretty solid. Yeah, everybody works on the Sabbath, but I mean, you know, we in captivity. What could we do? This is the mentality of our people. Mentality of the people that know this word, that had a fear for the Most High in the past and now completely disconnected. That is crazy. I don't want to understand that. I see it. I see it too often. And it's scary and it's sad. And then you become enemies to those people because you really care and you want to warn them. But they look at you like, get out of here with that nonsense. Oh, so it's nonsense now. Okay. But the times that the Most High got you and saved you, and you knew and you recognized it, now that was of no significance, right? Okay, cool. And it hurts when you understand it because it's like, man, you're really playing with fire. And it's sad because you're so disconnected that you really think you're going to be able to war with the Most High. Who's ever warred with the Most High and came out victorious? But the state of our people, of our foolish virgins, is that. Nah, I'm cool. In that day, I'll cry out for the Most High, and he's going to forgive me because he's merciful. He's full of mercy. Hey, you go into the minds of these people, that's how they process things. You forget that, though. Man, they got all these crazy spirits that ain't it. They're living in a fantasy, right? Finish that up, Ak. Destroyed in what?
And in thy security thou shalt be destroyed, and perish in the day of vengeance.
And perish in the day of vengeance. Which, when we go back to Matthew, we're going to see what, you know, that's what it was talking about, right? Because remember, the Most High is going to come through, or Yahweh Shai is going to come through. The bride is Israel. Those that handle what they had to handle are going to go with Yahweh Shai, and those that didn't are going to face that valley of Jehoshaphat. I mean, we all going to face it, but they're going to fall into that eternal damnation. Most High willing is not us. But again, just so you could understand how much it takes. It's not difficult. It's just the way we look at things. We make it difficult, right? But let's go from there to, let me get Philippians 2:12. So that we were covering as far as, the time is concerning the time and what it is that we need to be doing with our time. We got to make sure we take advantage of the time that we have been granted by the Most High to really put in this work, to prepare. Get that, Philippians?
Philippians chapter 2 and verse 12. Wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence. Work out your own salvation.
But listen to that, right? The beginning of that. It said, not only in my presence, but also in my absence. Soon as we get away from the body, that's when the demons come. And then we out here jacked up half the week, defeated.
I mean, even more than that, Yahweh Shai sees you. Whether you in here or at home or wherever you are, the most you can't hide. People act like Yahweh don't see them. You act like he don't see you messing up, acting out.
Yep. And that's just to show you how much fear you don't have towards the Most High. Because again, we out here pleasing men. We men pleasers. I want to look good in front of the Akim, and then even that we suck at. We out here messing up all the time, right? And not considering the actions, our actions. But my point with this is that not only in the presence of Israel, of your fellow brethren, those men that are known to do right, but as soon as you leave, you got to understand, as soon as you leave, that's when the spirits come in, right? How are you going to deal with that? We read about it in Sirach 27. How are you going to reason with those situations? And then you're able to look back at your life, examine your life to really see if you're doing according to what the Most High is requiring of you, right? Are you dealing with the things the way you're supposed to be dealing with them? Or are you doing your own thing? And you'll know if you're doing your own thing, then guess what? Most of the time, your life is going to be out of order. Your life is going to be completely chaotic. And if that's the case, then we're not on track, right? But read that again, Art.
Verse 12, wherefore, my beloved, as ye have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence. Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling.
This part right here. Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Go ahead.
Verse 13, for it is Yahweh which worketh in you, both to will and to do of his good pleasure.
Exactly. So let's go back to Matthew 25. And let's see what happened.
Matthew chapter 25 and verse 5. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight there was a cry made, behold, the bridegroom cometh. Go ye out to meet him. Then all those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps.
So look at how it happened, right? They were asleep. They were comfortable. And in the middle of the night, somebody gave them that word, warned them and told them, look, it's time, right? So they all got their lamps. They trimmed, right? Remember the old school lanterns and stuff like that, right? So they hooked them up, and what happened?
And the foolish said unto the wise, give us your oil. Give us of your oil, for our lamps are gone out. But the wise answered, saying, not so, lest there be not enough for us and you. But go ye rather to them that sell, and buy for yourselves.
So going back to what we just read about in the last scripture where it was talking about, working out your own salvation. That's what it's talking about. Yeah, it's referring to as, the substance being oil here, but what is that oil used for, right? The light. And what is the light? These precepts, the commandments. And if you follow these commandments, guess what? You're doing the works of the Most High. So you're working out your own salvation with fear and trembling, right? But the state of our people is like, nah, you know what? A lot of our, 20% of the congregation got it. Let them handle the business, and I'll just come through and reap the benefits, which is what these 5 virgins right here were thinking. They're like, you know what? They can't prepare. I mean, what's a little bit of oil? They could spare a little bit. We'll be good. The sister said, nah. Read verse 9 again.
But the wise answered, saying, Not so, lest there be not enough for us and you, but go ye rather to them that sell, and buy for yourselves.
What time is it?
Midnight.
It's midnight. Who's open right now? So you got to go knock on people's doors, because remember, it was a little different of a setup back then. Kind of like in Latin America, Ghana and stuff like that, third world countries where the store is somebody's house, so you could actually go and knock, right? So now imagine for you to wake the person up, have them come to, and come give you what you need. So you could really consider how long did that take? A long time, right? Continue reading.
Verse 10, and while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage.
Look at that. While they were out there trying to get ready, in the middle of the night, the bridegroom came, right? And took up the 5 wise virgins. That's Yahweh Shai right there. The second coming. You think he's going to be like, oh, okay, where's brother at? Let me wait for him. Where's the sister at? Oh, she wasn't ready? All right, I'll wait. That's why the scriptures tell you time after time after time, like, no, stay ready. Be ready. Because of that hour, nobody knows. Right? We read about it in Sirach earlier. It says, suddenly, out of the blue, he's going to come through and hit you with it. Once that happens, what you going to do then? Who are you going to help? I mean, who are you going to ask for help when you're in the clutches of the Most High? I mean, even if you ask, who's going to help you? Who's going to save you, right? Nobody. But that's why what we read about earlier where it says, working out your own salvation with fear and trembling is because once that day presents itself, the scriptures tell you, don't even wish on that day. A lot of us, man, I can't wait. I bet you can. Because that day is going to be an ugly day. It's going to be a scary day. You're going to see blood left and right. Judgment left and right. And it ain't going to be the judgment we're used to. It's going to be just judgment, right? Imagine 2/3 of our people done away with. That's not counting everybody else. So imagine how much blood we're going to see spilled on this earth, right? It says it's going to be a dark day. It's going to be quakes. Just think about the worst natural disasters times, I don't know how much, right? So these are the things we got to consider when we read these parables, right? So let's go from there. Let's get, we're almost done. Not the longest lesson this evening. Let me get Isaiah 55. Let's get Isaiah 55. We're going to read 6 through 7.
Isaiah chapter 55 and verse 6. Seek ye the word, Slakia, seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near.
Look at that, right? So it says, seek the Most High while what?
While he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near.
Imagine, that's different for everybody. Some of us, we all have different ages, right? We all at different stages of our lives. The bishop has done a lot from what I recall as far as, when people are in their deathbeds, their last days, and how important it is for you to try to go and get at those people, because obviously their time is about to expire. And Lord willing, they get to repent, right? Sincerely repent in those last couple of days or moments or minutes that they have. But imagine the people that don't have the ability to come across somebody that's actually going to bring this word to them in their last days. But is that going to be an excuse for anybody? No. Because guess what? In your life, I'm pretty sure you came across it. 1, 2, couple of times. You see literature when we pass out these, these pamphlets to our people, and you just see them on the ground. And the tripped out thing about that is that we've gotten calls from people out of the country. And you ask them, how did you find out about, the word? And how did you find out about the congregation? Oh, it was a flyer that I found somewhere where we know where we go, right? Somewhere way on the other side of town years ago in somebody's yard. So that means somebody took it, didn't see the importance of it, tossed it, and somebody else picked it up. And that person is in Jamaica 5 years later calling up, trying to get this word. Mm-hmm. That's just to show you how the Most High works. It's scary, it's crazy, but if you hear and you know you have the fear for the Most High, pray on a daily that you don't lose that fear. Pray on a daily that the Most High doesn't give up on you. You could prove to the Most High that, He is the priority in your life, and He's going to hold you. He's going to hold you because you're going to be humble. You're going to have that meek spirit, and that's what He wants. It was Hezekiah, right, that was about to die. He humbled himself. How many years did the Most High give him? 15 years. Imagine you're at the point of death. He gave him 15 years. He granted him 15 because he's seen the sincere heart that the brother had. And that's so many other, stories that we could read about in the scriptures. But you really got to take advantage, understand that you're here right now, that somebody's giving you this word. Imagine, you look at the book of the Maccabees, right, and the stories that we read about. When everything was shut down, imagine you're in a province somewhere far from everybody else. But you didn't take advantage of those lessons that were available when they were, right? And now you somewhere by your lonesome and don't really have the understanding that you could have had if you would have taken advantage of that time. And now all is, all war is out, death is coming your way, everybody's being persecuted. Now what? That's why, let's read that again.
Verse 6, Isaiah chapter 55, verse 6. Seek ye the Lord while He may be found. Call ye upon Him while He is near. Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts.
Look at that. Because that's the state that we in, right, when we come across this word. A lot of people misunderstand that too. You call somebody wicked. Like, no, brother, you wicked. Sister, you wicked. Anything that's going against the Most High is wickedness. You don't got to be the worst person in the world, but you are going to be in a wicked place one time or another. And if somebody calls you out, all praises to the Most High that they're looking out for you. Mm-hmm. But we look at these terms as like, oh, that could never be me. Now that's you often. And whenever, somebody corrects you, thank the Most High that they're checking you, because it's the Most High correcting you. The Most High loves you to the point that He has somebody come through and correct you and check you to try to get you back on track. But as Israelites, we look at it like, nope, who's this person? He thinks he's holier than thou. Look at him. No, he cares for you. She cares for you and is looking out. Take heed. Right? So it says, let the wicked forsake his way and the unrighteous man his thoughts. Go ahead.
And let him return unto the Lord, and He will have mercy upon him, and to our power, for He will abundantly pardon.
Man. Don't get that twisted, though. Because before that, we read, it says, let the wicked forsake his way and the unrighteous man his thoughts. And let him return unto the Lord, and he will have mercy upon him, right? But the prerequisites is that, the requirements, that you forsake your wicked ways and all them thoughts. You cannot be the same person you were a week ago, a day ago, once you come through and commit to the Most High, right? And then he says, for he will abundantly pardon. That's beautiful right there. We don't even deserve that. But the Most High says, as long as you come back, that prodigal son, right? As long as you come back and forsake all those wicked thoughts and wicked ways that you had, I'm with you. That's all he tells you. I mean, you read in Jeremiah, you read in Isaiah, you read in Revelations, you read in every book, basically, that's all you need to do. Yep. It's not that difficult. It's not that difficult, especially when you have brothers and sisters that are walking the same walk and really in sincerity trying to do the best that they can to please the Most High. It's difficult when you're out there with everybody that's not even minding the Most High. But that's what we like. We feel comfortable out there. Why? Because there's no accountability. Yep. Our mind plays tricks on us and be like, nah, you know what? I'm good. I'm not killing anybody.
Yep.
You know? I mean, I'm here at the function right now. I know it's Saturday, but I didn't buy anything. And you lie to yourself to the point that you believe these lies. You know what? I'm here. I mean, I paid ahead of time. I'm going to show up when the sun goes down. And I mean, you know, all these things that we think about to try to make ourselves still be on the right side of the Most High, right? When we completely on the other side. Think about it, man. Everything that we read about in the scriptures, man, it was so detailed. And the Most High was crucial with the judgment. Like when you read about things that happen to certain people. But yeah, we think we're going to, you know, we have a better relationship with the Most High. He's going to pardon our wicked ways. It don't work like that, right? So let's go from there. So again, Israel, let's seek the Most High while we can. While there's some time, right? Let's go to Matthew 10. 10 and 39. Because it's obvious that if we're not seeking them, we're doing this right here.
Matthew chapter 10, verse 39. He that findeth his life shall lose it. And he that loseth his life for my sake shall find it.
So what is that saying? Again, going back to what we love doing. Kind of like when we read about Paul, right? And them words and them paragraphs that confuse the hell out of us. Nah, it's basically letting you know, look, if you seek your own life and your own will, you're going to lose it. Because guess what? You're being one of them foolish virgins. You're caught up in your own personal gains, right? And your own personal dreams or wills, whatever it is. You're not locked into what it is that the Most High requires of you. But if you lose your life for His sake, then guess what? You will gain that eternal life.
God.
If you prep up and make sure that you have oil in that lamp for the day of judgment, you're going to be good. But if you're so caught up, knowing that that day is approaching, but you know that your days are expiring and you want to live your best life and go all out and do everything that you want to, that bucket list that you have, is what he's talking about here. Then if that's your focus, you will lose at the end. You will be one of them virgins that had no oil and that the bridegroom shut the door on, right? That was it with that. You finished it, right?
Yeah, that was it.
Let's go from there. Let's go to Romans. Again, this is covering the time that is expiring on a daily for us, that's running out. Romans 13 and 11.
Romans chapter 13, verse 11. And that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to wake out of sleep. For now is our salvation nearer than when we believed.
Read that again.
And that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep.
It's time right now, this present time, as we read, as you go and read these scriptures, as you wake up tomorrow, that is the time. It's high time for us to wake out of sleep, to awake out of the sleep that we've been in for years, for decades, however old we are, right? We got to wake up and really realize, like, you know what, Abba? I don't know if I'm going to make it till the end of the day. I don't know if I'm going to make it till next week. So while I'm here and while you allow me and grant me this life, let me make sure I do the best that I can to please you. Be, the best Israelite that I could be, right? Continue on.
For now is our salvation nearer than when we believed.
Yeah, every day we grow older. Every day our life is getting closer to the end. And remember, it's only getting closer to the end due to the sin that our forefathers committed. Because according to Wisdom of Solomon and from the beginning in Genesis, we were supposed to be immortal. So that's the reason why our time is constantly expiring. So therefore, if we unlock, then we do what we need to do. We reverse that curse. And then we end up with what? Everlasting life. Right? But we don't even believe that. We look at that, we read about it, we hear it, but we don't understand it. Right? Because if we did, then, like the brother said earlier this evening, we wouldn't be caught up in the cares of the world. We will be focused in this right here. We're trying to set up our 401ks. We're trying to set everything up like we're really going to get that. Economy crashes right now, that mug is gone. The bank shut down, all that is gone. But you have more faith in that than in the works of the Most High. You're setting up your treasures in this world that's going to pass instead of setting your treasures up in the heavens. Right? Let's go from there. You finished that, right?
Come.
Let's go from there and get Matthew 7. Matthew 7 and 21.
Matthew chapter 7 and verse 21. Not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven.
Exactly. So I feel like I sound like a broken record, because it's the same thing over and over, right? It says, not everybody, right? Not everybody that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven. And the will of the Most High, it was to handle and conduct his business properly, right? Continue on.
Verse 22. Many will say unto me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? And in thy name have we cast out devils? And in thy name done many wonderful works? And then will I profess unto them, I never knew you.
I never knew you. Again, we're delusional. That's the state of mind of a lot of us here. We really think we're doing a whole lot, and then that day is going to be a disappointment, because imagine the Most High says, I will answer you, I never knew you. That day, you're going to find out whatever you were doing wasn't it. Because a lot of us, we read about it, I think it was for the new moon, about the hireling. The hireling, right? You're doing things for a prize, whether it's for popularity, whether it's to fill up your pockets, whether it's for a name or whatever it is. It's not for the Most High that you're doing these works, but it's for something else, something vain. So that's why the Most High said right here, read 22 again.
Many will say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? And in thy name have cast out devils?
Or Yahweh Shai, rather. Go ahead.
And in thy name done many wonderful works? And then will I profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity.
Ye that work iniquity. Let's go to Colossians 3:23 right quick to understand why. And we have so many examples when you read just about the Pharisees, right? The Pharisees, they were masters in the law. But yet, did they do it for the nation? Not at all. So when you read about that and you look at that, it's like, okay, cool. You're able to understand why he's saying what he's saying. These brothers were there in the temple daily. They were there every Sabbath. They were talking about the law constantly. But were they sincere about what they were doing? La. Get that, Colossians 3:23?
Colossians chapter 3, verse 23. And whatsoever ye do, do it heartily, as to the Lord and not unto men, knowing that of the Lord ye shall receive the reward of the inheritance, for ye serve the Lord Yahushua.
Exactly. So these are the things we got to meditate on. Whenever we're doing these works, we got to look at the reason behind why are we doing these things. We always say, yeah, because we search and we trying to, gain salvation. Okay, in that process, are you really understanding what that consists of? Are you being your brother's keeper? Are you being mindful? Are you a respectful brother or a respectful sister? All these things we got to look at. Are you considerate? Or you just do you and then, take off and be MIA? So that's why he was saying what he said earlier, right? He's like, man, I don't even know who you are. Get away from me, you worker of iniquity. Because, yeah, you were there. So were the Pharisees. So were all these priests in the past. But they were out there working iniquity. You were out here, man, priests going to the enemy talking about, hey, you know what? I know where the gold's at. I know how much they have. Come through. If you set me up as a priest, then I got you. I'm going to give you 50%. Okay, cool. And also, by the way, grant me some permission so, we could be set. You help me, I help you, and we straight. You read about that in the book of Maccabees. It's a beautiful book where you can see all these examples, right? And it also shows you when these individuals came through and tried to take over the bank, the bank that Israel had, how Christ was there and had a field day with them. All this is written in the Bible. But we read about it and it's like in one ear, out the other. Don't consider it, right? Let's go and have like 3 more precepts and we'll be done. Let's go from there. Let's get Zephaniah. Zephaniah 2, 1 and 3.
Zephaniah chapter 2 and verse 1. Gather yourselves together. Yeah, gather, O nation not desired.
So this is, again, the reason why you hear brothers talk about Jake's brothers or sisters that want to be on their individual tip. You don't ever read in the scriptures that it says, you know what? If you please, go ahead and do your own thing. You don't ever read that. He always is telling you, look, come together. That's why we have what we're keeping right now this evening, the 7-day Sabbath. Weekly, we're to come together. Weekly, we're to come together. Why? Because that helps you to continue on with the week that's about to be, present itself. You're supposed to come through, deal with your people, reflect, refresh, right? And be ready to face another week, another set of trials, another set of tribulations. And at the same time, be able to aid in the gathering of the 1/3. How are you going to be able to do that when you're alone, when you're by yourself? Okay. You can't. And what accountability is there? None. So whatever you say, that's the lie that you believe. I'm good. I'm straight. Yes, I'm prioritizing the Most High as my priority. Yet the whole Sabbath went by and all you were doing is clicking and going through all these different shows that have nothing to do with the Most High. didn't tune into one class, didn't read one precept, and that's 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, but you still claiming to be an Israelite. How does that work? Read that again from the beginning.
Salakia.
Zephaniah.
Hold on.
2 and 1.
Zephaniah chapter 2, verse 1. Gather yourselves together. Yeah, gather together, O nation not desired. Before the decree bring forth, before the day pass as the chaff, before the fierce anger of the Lord come upon you, before the day of the Lord's anger come upon you.
Think about that, right? Because a lot of us be saying, oh, when Yahweh Shai comes, that's when we're going to come together. The scripture just said before that happens. How is it that you're going to be a good servant when you've been on your own the whole time? Who did you help? Who did you counsel? Who did you receive counsel from? Who did you rebuke? Who corrected you? How does that work? It doesn't, right? But again, it's the lies that we create for ourselves and we make them realities, right? Leviticus 19. Leviticus 19 and 17.
Leviticus chapter 19 and verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him.
It said in any wise. That means no matter what the situation is, you got to go ahead and what?
Rebuke thy neighbor. Rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him.
Rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. Again, how are you going to do that when you're by yourself? Oh, well, you know what? I got my husband with me, my family with me. Okay, cool, but how sharp are they? If you're out here just not minding what you're supposed to be minding on the Sabbath, what do you think your kids are going to be doing? You're a product of your environment. It said, right, men of certain kinds, what is it? It says consort with each other, right? What does that say right there? That means that you're gonna gravitate to people that are on your state of mind, the same state of mind that you on. And if you're on some BS, guess what? They're gonna be on some BS. That's why you're comfortable with them. That's what the scriptures are talking about. You get away from a congregation, especially if they're coming forth and bringing forth judgment, correction, counsel. You're like, nah, that's too much. I'll do it myself. I know these scriptures enough for me to deal with them by myself. Well, obviously you don't know them at all because that's not what the scriptures be talking about. Not in one place can you show me that the Most High tells you to be an individualite, right? To do your own thing. And what is it? Hebrews talks about too, coming together. How are you going to come and keep a feast when you're by yourself? You can't. Let's get Proverbs 27. Because remember, we talked about foolishness at the beginning of the lesson, and it talked about somebody being dull, right? Having no sharp edges, not being sharp at all. Yet the scripture tells you this, Proverbs 27 and 17.
Proverbs chapter 27 and verse 17. Iron sharpeneth iron. So a man sharpeneth the countenance of his friend.
You see that? Iron sharpeneth iron, so a man what?
Sharpeneth the countenance of his friend.
Exactly. You cannot do that alone. And that's what's going to aid for us to be on point with each other. Them sisters, them 5 virgins, right, that were ready, you don't think they had some interaction with each other? They were in the same state of mind, right? So they obviously hitting each other up, like, hey, hey, look at the signs. There's rumors of war. Now the war is here. We're getting closer. When you see brothers and sisters have conversations, these are the conversations brothers are having. Hey, we got to prep up, man. Look at this inflation. Look at the price of gas. Look at this. Look at that. Joseph talked about it. Hey, you know what? We need a storehouse. we got to prep up. You know what? We got to load up and, get some more of these certain, things because it's at hand. If you're not having these conversations, if you're thinking everything is calm and everything is cool, and then you're not where you're supposed to be. And if you don't have somebody that's coming through, imagine the brother's doing research, he comes across some information, now he relays it to the body. If you don't have a body, how are you going to get that information? Then you want to go, oh, guess what? There's some militias, there's some militant groups out there that I want to partake of because they seem like they got their stuff together. Is that going to matter at the end of the day if the Most High is not with them? It's not. It hasn't. But it's crazy. That's how we think. I'm going to arm up and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. I'm going to join this and I'm going to join that. But the Most High, I'm cool with that. I get it, but you know what? I think if I prep up on this side with these things, I'm going to be all right. It doesn't work like that. It does not work like that. Let me get the last one. Luke 12 and 40. And we did finish Matthew 25, right? Go to Matthew again and read the last couple of verses. Let's get Matthew first, Matthew 25. And read 10 again.
Matthew chapter 25, verse 10. And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage.
So it says those that were ready went in with them, right, to the marriage. But what happened to the other ones?
And the door was shut.
The other ones were left out. The door was shut. Right? Read on.
Afterward came also the other virgins, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us. But he answered and said, Verily I say unto you, I know you not.
I know you not. Imagine that. Imagine you as a woman, right? The day of your wedding, and your husband just shuts the door and you're like, I don't know who you are. Imagine, though, how you really thought that you had a connection with that man. But since you weren't ready, and that just shows you also, about helpmeet, being, sufficient to be able to be there and be an asset to the Most High, an asset to the nation. We cannot just be here filling up seats. We cannot be here and be Israelite liabilities. It does not work like that. But that's the illusion that we in nowadays, especially in this country. Right? We always think that, what was that? That somebody owes us something. What's the word?
What, recompense?
Entitled.
Oh, entitled.
Entitled. We out here always roaming around. Entitled, thinking that, because I'm Israel, I'm good. Because I'm Israel, then this and that. Always using that as an excuse. It does not work like that. Prime example right here. It's the day of your wedding, but since you weren't ready, shut the door on you. Somebody that obviously you had a relationship with for who knows how long. You were excited. It was something that was talked about. But that day, since you didn't prep up ahead of time, the door was shut. And he said, I know you not. So let's finish it up with Luke. So again, this parable is just letting you know to always be ready. To not think that you got, this endless amount of time and that you just go ahead and, procrastinate and put off from day to day, right? Read that. Luke 12 and 40.
Luke chapter 12 and verse 40. Be ye therefore ready also, for the Son of Man cometh at an hour when ye think not.
Exactly. So it says, always be ready. For Yahweh Shai cometh, but that hour, nobody knows. Nobody knows. And not even that. None of us know when we're going to die. We out here thinking about, oh, well, you know, I wonder when he's going to come. Who knows if you're going to be alive? Do you know that? So again, the whole point of the story is always be ready. And whenever you're not ready, make sure you reflect and do everything in your ability, which is pretty much keeping these laws, keeping these statutes, making sure you take counsel, making sure you take correction, making sure that whatever you do, you're doing it wholeheartedly like if you're doing it unto the Most High. Once you do that, guess what? You have charity, right? All these things. Once you check them off, make you a list. Once you check all these things off, then guess what? You're on that path. You in good standings with the Most High. And all you could do from that point is do better, be better. Every year, every month, every new moon, you should check back on yourself and be like, you know what? I'm much better than what I was a moon ago, a year ago. Last Pesach, man, I know I slipped up. This Pesach, man, I was ahead a month in advance. I was ready. I was prepped up already. You take that approach with this word, then guess what? Everything is good. Your finances get better. Your family falls in line and the household, gets in order. Remember the other thing that we read about earlier. There's certain things, certain people that you got to cut off at the end. Mm-hmm. After you dealt with them so many times, you can't just keep casting pearls before swine. And as difficult as that could be, or as that is, you got to have that discernment within you to be able to know, like, you know what? I'm just wasting my time with this brother right here, with this sister right here. Because no matter how much I tell them and show them the importance of this right here, of this life, they agree with it, but their actions tell me different. Show me different. Show me otherwise. Then you a fool if you're still dealing with that situation.
Yep.
So with that, I hope the lesson was edifying, and we're going to go ahead and close out. Make sure you tune in to the closing service tomorrow at 4:30 Pacific time. And with that, we say shalom.
Shalom.